Orange County. And there's some Orange County friends are here. And we've been doing this for a long, long time. My father got the whole business started. And I just, to speed things up, I'd like to read a story that I wrote about my dad. Let me just read this to you, and it'll explain pretty much. The Longshoreman meets Hollywood, USA. 64 years ago, the beast from 20,000 Fathoms took a stroll down Broadway and almost stepped on my father. He still smiles when we mention it, and here's how it all started. Dad got his job working on the docks of New York, following the footsteps of his dad, my grandfather, and my namesake, Joey Vento. Working as a longshoreman in the 1950s, Dad saw so many wonderful things, some not so great, and some that would be hard to explain even today. One of the greatest experiences that Dad was subject to was being in the right place at the right time. Dad and my grandfather ended up in the hiring hall sequences in the classic On the Waterfront, and they got paid for that, along with most of the men, with a bottle of J&D Scotch to take home. At a recent showing we did of this Brando classic, no, Dad never saw hide nor hair of the great Marlon Brando. We had my dad stand up and say a few words about it as his experience, and Dad is so humble that all he said was, "We got free whiskey," and gave his signature thumbs up. Dad claims to have invented the thumbs up long before Arthur Fonzarelli did. The very same thing happened when Warner Brothers came to the old piers and the Fulton Fish Market to film Longshoreman running from the beast from 20,000 Fathoms. There's a shot, if you look in the beast from 20,000 Fathoms, when he comes ashore, there's a small shot here of these people that they'll realize that this beast just popped out of this river, and my dad is right here sweeping. Dad appears briefly in the background under a shed of some sort, sweeping, hence the sweeping man. Dad can't remember what the men got paid, probably a bottle of something again. But there were also some actors portraying dock workers this time, and some of those were his friends. The guy getting a light on his cigarette was a friend of my dad's. It was in 1966 and 70 that Dad told me he was in this film. Some lizard film, he called it. My mother also said, some lizard film. Only when I was gaining an interest in films and monsters. We watched 1 Million Years BC at the RKO Albee Theater in downtown Brooklyn, and Dad seemed to notice the way the creatures were moving. And he told me he was in a movie that had a monster that looked like that, referring to the face of the Allosaurus in 1 Million Years. Amazing. I told all the kids on the block. In 1968, everybody was interested, everyone was ape crazy, so the dinosaurs were taking very low precedence. Finally, the story that many of you know, my mom and dad were on a date in the early 1950s, and quite by accident, they walked right onto the outdoor set of Alfred Hitchcock's The Wrong Man. He was filming partly in Brooklyn Heights on what we call the Promenade, and Mom and Dad met Vera Miles, Mr. Hitchcock, who they loved talking to, not, however, Henry Fonda. You'll remember this when you go home. Who, when my dad approached him for a chat or maybe an autograph, he cursed my dad out and stormed off. He was having a bad day. To this day, my dad has nothing good to say about Henry Fonda. Mom and Dad both got to be in the walk-by crowd scenes in The Wrong Man, and my mom, Laura, God rest her, I never forgot it. She would tell the story every Christmas. Dad and I miss her so. So the next time you're watching Henry Fonda falsely accused, or Marlon Brando giving hell to Lee J. Cobb, or 100 Brooklyn longshoremen running from New York's favorite prehistoric tourist, look carefully and you might see my dad, Sonny, thumbs up and whiskey in hand. Thank you. Where's the, here it is. We brought this to start the show up. This is Dad's hook. Longshoremen, when they worked on the docks, every man had a hook. If you watch On the Waterfront, they were all carrying hooks. But Dad had this on the set of The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms and on the waterfront. and God knows what else. We don't know what else he was in. They were shooting The Naked City at that time on the docks of New York. So we found, some neighbors found this behind a wall in his old house. I thought it was gone forever, and they polished it up for us. I can't bring this to most shows with kids. You guys will appreciate it. Does anyone have any questions about anything they see here that they'd like to know about? And I'll just glance by everything. This is the Three Worlds of Gulliver. It's a vest not worn by Kerwin Matthews, because Miss Jo Morrow had told me that Kerwin was very broad-shouldered. So it was more than likely worn by one of the female, probably June Thorburn. It does have a lot of damage, and it's all water stained, so we're thinking it was used in the scene where Gulliver has to, I think it's Gulliver, has to enter the tanks to prove that he's not a witch. So that's the Three Worlds of Gulliver. I'll start over here. This is something not monster related, but I know all you film fans will love it. This is a Roman centurion outfit from the movie The Robe. And it was also used again in Demetrius and the Gladiators. And we got this from a guy that had worked on the film, an older man living on Long Island. This is a little prelude for next year. This is the original ad, newspaper ad for the Valley of Guanji that my parents took me to in '69 at the RKO Albee. And we have a story about that too, but we left it home. We're going to read it to you next year. Beneath the Planet of the Apes, 1970. This one of many, many vinyl outfits that were used for background plays, background apes. They didn't get the expensive leather outfits, so they got that. And I didn't get the expensive leather outfit. I got that. And let's see, what else? These are, and you can come up and take pictures of these. These two issues are Yank magazine, which came out in World War II, and Ray Harryhausen did the covers. Right here we have a life cast of John Hurt, God rest his soul, from The Elephant Man.
Where did you get that?
We got this actually at, who has that? We got that at Dick Smith's garage sale.
Isn't it at a garage?
Yeah, Dick's, well, it's jokingly called Dick Smith's garage sale, but he was getting rid of a lot of stuff. And we knew people that were going up there. He lived in Larchmont, God rest his soul. He lived in Larchmont, and things were being sold all over the place. And we went there, we got a couple of things actually from there. This is a mannequin head from the Twilight Zone episode, The After Hours, and used whenever they needed mannequin heads, they would use stuff like that. And that was from Dick Smith's garage sale. He just had a lot of different stuff that he had done. This is a Marcel Delgado sculpted Kong head that was being used with real yak hair. I love saying that to everyone. And these were being made. This was 1966, and this comes from Forey's place. And they were being used as mass-produced masks in '66. But Delgado sculpted that. And I often put it away, and then when I break it out, I say, you know, that's really almost one of the most important pieces of my collection, that he sculpted that. Last year we brought in a really big Kong head that he did that was found in Forey Ackerman's cellar. When you went to the Ackerman, you either went in his house, and he would try to show you the basement, but he'd be like, you know, he'd lead you down there like very, very, very demonically. And you'd go downstairs and it had a dirt floor. And a lot of his great stuff were down there, but they were getting mildew, getting mold on them. So when the chance came that a lot of this stuff became available, 1972, 1973, I came across many of these. We got it. Dad too. Dad, most of you know, my dad always said that try to get in contact with celebrities that aren't so famous. So don't try to get in contact with Ray Harryhausen.
Yeah.
Try to get in contact with people like Hua Chang, who I started communicating with. Hua Chang worked on The Time Machine and many other films. And people like Phil Kellison, who worked on the Giant Behemoth. And these are the people that I contacted in my life, and lots of them sent me things. Corey sent me stuff, I think, to stop me from writing. Yeah, that's what we think. But beautiful man, wonderful man. We all owe him a debt. We all of them. We walk in the shadow of their footsteps. This is we bring this everywhere we go because we're always showing this film at our screenings for kids. This is from Hocus Pocus. This is one of the tombstones in the graveyard. And this is a Salem police badge that was used on the cops' costumes. Now, Planet of the Apes, 1968. We go from a wonderful, wonderful remake to the original. And this was used in Beneath too. This is, they have a picture. Do I have a picture, Jess? This is part of the redesigned cage that they used in Beneath that hooked over the side. It wasn't the really wild one that you usually see in the first film. And the story behind this is, this was in Malibu State Park. A lot of the ape buildings, a lot of the ape were all bulldozed down. There's nothing remaining there now. You can see the foundations. But most of the cage was bulldozed into a gully and left there as garbage. I had someone escort it out of the park for me and send me a big chunk of it. I thought I was going to get something that I could make like a pendant with, and instead I get this thing. So when we do show this, we sometimes the kids that are not familiar with Planet of the Apes, or maybe we have them hold it, we're looking like that. There's a photo of it. Have you found it? No, that's okay. Yeah, so we love Kong. We love Kong. We love the original Kong. But who hasn't sobbed uncontrollably at the 76 Kong? You all have. This is a piece of his the big mock-up at the World Trade Center. Even more reason to sob. And we have a piece that we'll take around, actually, that you can actually feel. The Colossus of New York, that's a casting that, again, from Dick Smith's garage sale, given to me actually through one of my really wonderful friends, makeup artist Arnold Gargiulo, who contributed so much to our barn when we actually had a barn. Everything now is in storage. We don't have the barn anymore, but we do travel with it. So if you are ever in the area, you can come to one of our shows. We do movie screenings out of an old abandoned chapel, 1854 chapel that was formerly a one-room schoolhouse. And we do movie screenings at the end of every month. July 15th is Gorgo. And speaking of Gorgo, I think there's a piece of Gorgo, isn't it? One of those things. There should be a box. This is a piece of one of the Martian, Hua Chang again, Charlie Gamora. Skin of the Martians from War of the Worlds, 1953. You can check that out. And that was due to my communicating with Hua Chang. Hua Chang was an artist that he was so behind the scenes that he never got the fame that most of the big artists had gotten. He created so many things. He worked on The Time Machine. He worked on The Seven Faces of Dr. Moreau. He worked on The Wonderful World of the Brothers Grimm. He also created Elizabeth Taylor's headpiece in Cleopatra when she enters Rome. So the next time you see her entering Rome, you'll see her wearing this thing with birds in it, and And Wah created that for her too. Oh, big on the outer limits. Yeah, he was involved with Project Unlimited, which was Wah Chang, Jim Danforth, and they created all sorts of wonderful effects. These here, let's see if I can, this is one of the mutant heads from Beneath the Planet of the Apes. He's got a squashed-in nose because he's always like facing this way in the barn. But again, a wonderful, wonderful film. It's a Western. Beneath the Planet of the Apes is a Western, believe it or not. It plays like a Western, except there's apes and there's telepathic terrors.
What's it made out of?
This is made out of latex rubber.
And it's lasted all these years?
Yeah, it's lasted many. I have another one at home too that I couldn't bring because that one's a little worse for wear. So we bring this one. This one's a little tougher.
You know, was that just a background, or was that?
This was probably used as background. Yes. Yeah. I was going to bring the other one, but I said, well, let's not chance it. We want to save some more for you for next year. This is another casting of David McCallum in The Sixth Finger. We created some eyes for it.
Did Fred Phillips do that one?
Yeah, Fred Phillips created the makeup and created the Architects of Fear for the Outer Limits.
So that's one of his sculptures?
No, that's a casting of The Sixth Finger. That came from Forey's.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff we have is so valuable because it was from Forey's place. I don't care what he wanted to give me. He could give me a drawing on a matchbook. If it was in Forey's place, it was amazing. This is, these are pieces of Gorgo. And Gorgo is playing at the Haunted Barn July 15th. And you can come up and take a look at this. Every Monster Kids fairy tale film. We all love it. What up top? That's Rick Baker. That's a Rick Baker prototype for Kong 76. Next to it, Jessica, you want to hold up the one next to it? Yeah, that's another prototype. Again, that was gotten for me by a friend of a friend. From God knows where. I don't ask. I'm just so humble about having them at our place that, yeah, okay, we'll take it. More rubber, more old rubber. Thanks, Jess. This here, I was lucky to get that. That's a Stuart Freeborn. That's the original conception for the apes in 2001: A Space Odyssey. Before they went with the apes you see in the film, they wanted an Aboriginal type look to them. But they didn't go for it because Kubrick couldn't do anything with their cod pieces. He wanted them to look like they were just, naked humans, but he needed to, he felt people wouldn't understand at that point what they were. So he went with the man-ape designs. And if you've seen this gorilla walking around Monster Bash, every now and then he walks down, he hangs out in the service corridor. He's patterned after one of the man-apes in 2001. So, so that's the original conception of that. And this here, again, from Forey Ackerman. These are very, very small pieces of the Kong Brontosaurus. Right in there. We leave it in there. Sometimes I take it off and you can smell it and it smells like burnt sugar. And this is when the Brontosaurus was crumbling beyond belief. And Forey, who was still in good health, sold off the pieces. When his health really, really got compromised, he had to sell off the pieces to pay for his doctor bills. So it wasn't fun anymore. And then, of course, Peter Jackson, who has, some folding cash, he bought all of the RKO models that Forey had gotten. The cave bear, the Stegosaurus, And that's only a small piece. My friend Wes, and you know Wes Shank, he's got a big piece of one of the Stegosaurus's plates. So it makes my piece like, okay, I got a few pieces of rubber from that, but and I think this again, these are the original appliances attached to a maquette, and the hair work was done by Josephine Turner, who worked on apes.
Is that the original I Married a Monster from Outer Space mask?
Excuse me?
Is that the original I Married a Monster from Outer Space mask?
No, that's a casting. That's a casting, but I believe that came from a makeup artist by way of, I'm not really sure, it's old. We've had it for a long, long time.
Such
But
a
that's
cool.
a casting. What I was told about this is, it's and I'm not a makeup artist, but it's the most complicated casting you can do because of all these tentacles. I think it's in 10 parts. So to cast this thing, you'd have like a coronary just trying to get everything right again. And the pieces we have here are the original spoke and wagon brake. Excuse me. Yeah. This is the original wagon brake from one of the Apes wagons in Planet of the Apes. Once again, used in beneath the Planet of the Apes because the wagons were were featured more. If you can come up, you can see this picture of Kim Hunter holding a banner that's actually very, very tiny, isn't it? Wage, peace, not war. And you can see the brake portion and the spoke. And they refurbished the entire wagon. The wagon's in England right now. And the guy that owns it is a man named Les Hemstock. He bought the wagon and refurbished it, took a lot of pieces off of it, and that's how we got this. So that's the Apes prison wagon. And whenever we do movie screenings, we feature many of these things in our shows. So if there's any questions, have you covered it all, Jess? Yeah, I think we got it all,
What
right?
about the bird? You see?
No, the bird is to prevent kids from throwing garbage in my kiosks. Yeah. We were trying to find a way to. It's part of like a beanbag thing for kids. My friend created it. My friend knew I was a giant famous Monsters fan, and he created these in his spare time to help with our shows. And we're in debt to him. That was wonderful.
And is that the mask that Dave McCallum wore in the sixth minute?
No, that's a casting. That's a casting that was done, and that was at Forey Ackerman's of that. Designed by Hua Chang, Fred Phillips, and worn by David McCallum.
Did Hua Chang work on Star Trek too in the 60s?
Yes, he did. Yeah. Hua Chang worked on everything, and sometimes I
think he did Devil in the Dark.
he is that the Romulan ship?
No, it's the one where Kirk finds the little orbs. And
Yeah, he did.
eggs.
He did. Actually, yes, he did. And the man playing is the Horta, right?
Yeah,
The man playing the Horta was Janos Prohaska, who was killed in a plane crash in 74, 75. He was also in Primal Man. He played on the Lucy Show. Whenever they needed a gorilla, he was on the Lucy Show. He was on Gilligan's Island. And he played the Horta. And Hua Chang designed the Horta. Yeah, very good.
Didn't he also play that bird monster in the Duplicate Man? You know, the Megazoid? Janis Prohaska. Or no, he was in the last episode.
No, he was in...
The probe, wasn't he like glob-like creature?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He played in Night Gallery. He was Pickman's model in Night Gallery. He did a lot. We have a piece. We didn't bring it with us. We have a piece of the Primal Man appliances. Primal Man was an NBC TV series about early man, and that's the shoot where Janos and his son were killed in a plane crash. So If you have any more questions, I think let's see if there's anything left in here. We tried to bring as much as we could. Yeah. And we just have a couple of, hold on to that, Jess. Yeah, we have a couple of paper items. Ray Bradbury and Ray Harryhausen both signed this. And the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, as you can tell, is very, very big in our house. So whenever we show it, we go all out. And we, unfortunately, my dad, who's 87, really can't attend the shows, but he's there in spirit. And an original ad from The Fly, which we'll be showing, when, Jess? September?
In July.
In July. It's Big Bug Fest at the Haunted Barn, with a couple of musicals thrown in there. So if you have any other questions,
do you have the Metaluna Monster? Because there's a picture of you on the Creepy Classic website.
yeah, no, I have that. Right now, everything at the barn is in storage. Some of it I'm sleeping with.
Can you tell us a little bit about that prop?
That particular piece was a big piece that my makeup artist friend Arnold had in storage, and you can have it. So it's thick and heavy, but I don't know where it is.
What's it made out of? What's it made out of?
It's made out of foam rubber. The inside is lined with a helmet material, like a polyurethane. And two big plastic eyes, but...
and that's painted?
Yeah, it's painted, yeah.
And it's lasted all these years.
It's lasted a lot of years,
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Yep.
What's your favorite piece that you own?
My favorite piece would have to be my stuff, usually the stuff that I have from Com. That piece right there, the Marcel Delgado piece, the other piece that many of you saw last year, that was one of my favorites. Anything, we didn't bring back the first men in the moon. We have a insect mask, Selenites, from First Men in the Moon that we brought last year. We didn't bring it this year. We couldn't fit it in. And that's one of my favorites because we're big Ray Harryhausen fans. And
Did you ever get to meet him?
yeah, I met him at the Museum of Modern Art when he was doing an exhibition. I met him very briefly, but over my shoulder, looking at the exhibits with me, was David Carradine. So I was more interested, and he was big on TV at the time, so I was more interested in talking to him. Yeah, very briefly. Once again, we walk in the footsteps. That's why we're all here. And again, happy 20th to Monster Bash for allowing us to do this for you. We love it. We just love it. Any other questions on anything?
The eight mask, now that's a John Chambers?
Yeah, that's John Chambers, yeah.
Again, that's an original that's lasted?
Yeah, that's the pieces on it are original. And they were put on, I think, in the mid-70s. They were put on this thing, and they were displayed at a friend of mine's house, at his little museum.
What is that made out of?
That's made out of foam rubber.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, that's made out of foam rubber, and it's really it has deteriorated. It's deteriorating around the mouth. But I kept all these things under wraps. And then when we finally found the barn, they were left out without any, we didn't have the room, so they were left out in all sorts of weather, and they lasted. Anything that's 50, 70 years old is not, it's on its last leg, and we'll preserve it best we can. But I like to do what Forey did. I like to have people see them without a covering on them. And even if that means they crumble. But then I'll keep the crumbles and I'll take those to another show and then show them. Yeah, I don't believe in hiding stuff, especially from the kids. We don't let the kids touch any of this. But they get up close and they love it. So.
Now, you had the barn and then you guys...
Yeah.
Are you still doing that?
Right, we had the barn for a lot of years, and now what we do is we travel with all this. Or when we have a movie screening, we bring a choice piece here and there, set it in the table in between Diane's dinner that she makes for us, and you know, it might be that piece, it might be that. If we're showing any of the 8 films, we'll bring the 8 props. 3 Worlds of Gulliver, we'll bring that, you know. And then we show lots of extras along with that before we go.
Besides your dad